Introspect, take a sec, watch your step, where you step, when you step, falling free through the sky, feel the breeze, feel the eye, all your fears, let them die, energy never lies, introspect, take a second, let your world
Welcome to Let 'Em Speak, episode 36. We're on episode 36.
36.
There it is. See? Episode 36 of Let 'Em Speak podcast. I'm your boy, your host, Cecil Williams. Coming at you with my good friends here. We have Abraham, Osahon. Stephen is here. Dave is running around somewhere. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you guys so much. If you're listening to us right now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we salute you as well. Thank you guys for listening and subscribing to us and listening to all of our foolery, all of our shenanigans. Gentlemen, how are we feeling?
I just want to say this is the second straight week where we ordered wings and he forgot my fries.
Again?
Oh, my
Again?
God.
From the same place? Oh, him. Sorry. We got it.
Him
Charge it
forgot
to my
the
head,
wings.
not my heart, brother.
Oh, Jesus.
I could've
Apparently, in your heart, you just don't care.
You don't care about the fries.
In my heart,
about the potatoes.
You don't care about fries, do you?
That's what I was about to say.
Here's the real question. Here's the real
potatoes.
question.
You don't like potatoes.
Where is your favorite? Where is your favorite French fries?
My favorite French fries?
Don't say In and Out.
Where?
No, I'm not an In and Out fan.
Only if they're well done.
Yes.
My favorite fries?
Yeah. I know.
You about to say McDonald's?
You look like a McDonald's.
You about
man.
to say Mickey D's?
You look like a McDonald's, huh?
Carl's Jr. do smack.
Jr.?
Del Taco got some good fries.
On the low.
Del Taco got some good fries.
On the low. Listen,
They fry smack.
Del
You get me
Taco or
eight.
Taco
You get me
Bell?
somebody. You get me 8
Listen.
of them chicken stock tacos with an order of fries.
Del Taco or Taco Bell?
He
Hey,
copied.
low key, bacon.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
Fries?
Fries?
No, not fries. I'm just saying.
I was about to say you can leave.
You could go.
Leave and go play in traffic. You can go play in traffic.
No.
Low
I've never
key,
had Taco Bell fries ever.
Baker's fries smacks as well.
They do.
But if you ain't in the IE, you wouldn't know.
Right.
Well, back to you.
Del Taco
You
was
still ain't giving us an answer.
I'm still trying to process.
You out here sounding like a
fries.
swing voter, undecided.
undecided.
Battleground states for
Because
fries.
there's so many
Jesus.
restaurants I've been to, like a steakhouse where their steak fries are just
Why are
fine.
you eating fries at a
Wait,
steakhouse?
Yeah.
Where you gonna do Sizzlers?
Yeah, scissors.
Back home where I'm from in Illinois.
Oh, you from Illinois?
Yes. Yeah. Why
Honestly, I still say Illinois.
I do that just to frustrate people from Illinois. I do it just to frustrate. Wait, what part of Illinois you from?
Illinois.
Bloomington, about an hour and a half.
Okay,
from Chicago.
yeah. I'm familiar.
Every time you say Bloomington, I
Are
think
you
up the
really?
street.
I'm hip, bro. Yeah.
What you know about Bloomington?
Listen.
You know, people be BS and be like, but listen,
I know,
man,
right.
check me
You
out.
know about Bloomington?
Look.
No. I like knowing about the cities that are not really known like that in certain states.
So Bloomington
me?
is State Farm's headquarters. Like
You do
Founded-
look like the new Jake from State Farm.
Yeah, come on.
Has
Come
anyone
on,
ever told you
commercial.
I
that?
look like Atticus from.
Yeah.
Has someone told you that?
Lovecraft
Don't you look
Country.
like the new Jake from State Farm?
Yeah. You do. New Jake.
I got you.
I think
You do.
Abe is still mad at me because of the fries, brother. I promise.
Oh, yeah. It's you on mute in his head. Like, it's right.
Am I? Like,
He's very stoic right now. You see the face?
you know, the Bible says you
It's
don't
stoic.
forgive your brother, he won't forgive you.
Man. Anywho. So we're here. Good to see everybody here. Gentlemen. All right.
What's up, Cecil?
We settled the fried debacle, right?
We didn't settle it. There's no,
All right.
no,
He ordered
no
his
French
own
fries, no
fries.
peace. No
Wait,
French fries,
no
no peace. No French fries, no peace.
When he asked what we wanted, this second time,
This is keep in mind this is second time.
Second time.
I told him fries first, and then I gave him my
And
flavor.
he said, all right, cool.
cool.
And then the food, and then
Bro, he walked in, he ate fries the whole 3
The whole
hours he was
time.
here, bro.
he's
No.
that kid. He's that kid.
And then he heard
Wait.
me, he was like, hey, you know we don't get fries. These my fries.
After he orders it, he's like, dang, I forgot.
Even in the last episode, he was digging in the bag.
Give me vegetable fries. I want celery.
There's no such thing as vegetable fries.
He was like,
Nobody having anything that looked
Bro.
like a fry next to him.
So did
Yo.
I not offer you twice?
Look.
Hey, here's the vegetables.
my man.
He didn't mean it.
He said
My
it was
man
inauthentic.
was like, yo, I forgot to order your fries. And I'm like, dang, all right, so all we gonna have is wings.
And then he
food
brought out the
comes,
bag.
He bring
Right.
out his
The whole
own
bag.
fries.
You want some fries? With cheese?
Not only did he forget my
with some
fries,
ranch, with a side of
but
ranch.
He ordered himself his own.
Let me say something.
No, and dang well when I said
No,
he was like,
I don't think you
let
need
me
to
go
right
do
now.
that.
No, let us
He
see. I don't
was
think I
like,
got something
he
for
was
him.
like,
I got something for him.
let
Let
me
me
get. He said he wants
Go ahead,
Cajun
speak.
fries.
Speak.
You know what? Let me get my cheese fries first,
Yeah.
and then let me go get the
Look,
wings,
Steven just
and then I'm
didn't-
done.
Nobody fries, man.
Steven,
Go ahead,
defend yourself.
Steve.
Defend yourself.
Go ahead, Steven.
So the app, right? So the app, right? So when you hit the meal,
Wait. So you blame it on the app?
But he was able to get his cheese fries.
So the very thing that blessed you, you gonna
Right.
use it.
You did-
You gonna blame it for the reason why you couldn't bless your
Wow.
brother. Wow.
blame it on
So
the
you
app.
blessed yourself and cursed your brother.
Wow.
You gonna blame the app
Take it
and
to the
not
word.
take responsibility.
That's the word.
But here's
You
the-
sound like Cain.
That's the
Look,
Bible.
Here's the biggest problem, though.
it ain't that deep.
It is that deep. It is that deep.
Here's the biggest
It's
issue.
not that deep.
When I told him the fries, he then looked at the app and went to go order fries. And I told him what I wanted. And instead, he orders his own
fries.
Because I had to cancel.
In the book of Philippians, I'm just playing Philippians. It says, "Don't look out for your own interest, but look out for the interest of others."
Okay.
But you looked out for your own interest in cheese
If
fries.
any of my friends from Bloomington,
Bloomington, Illinois.
yeah,
He not gonna get you no fries.
no, if they heard,
Did you go to the University of Illinois?
I did not.
You're not a Fighting Illini?
No, I'm not.
He didn't
Why are
fight.
you not a Fighting Illini?
Well, I'm a Redbird because in
You went to
Bloomington-
Louisville's?
No.
Oh.
Don't let me answer your question.
Yep.
Okay. So in Bloomington, we have our own college,
Oh, what's it called?
Illinois State University.
Oh,
They
you
got
the
fries?
IS. You the IS.
Yes, ISU.
ISU.
Yes.
To be exact.
Yeah, use the issue. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Use the issue.
So they're the Redbirds.
Is that where you went?
I went to college for a couple of years, but at the community college.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with community college.
There's nothing wrong.
I
went to
got my
community
AA.
college.
Shout out to Chafee.
I went to
got my
JC.
AA.
I went to a JC for sure.
I
I
didn't
did that
graduate.
JUCO
though.
route. Oh, okay.
I
It's
was,
okay.
I was broke, so I had to keep working, and I never went back. I was
Listen,
always
there's
low-key-
nothing wrong with that.
Jeez. That's
I
cool.
don't. I don't think he's saying that.
Don't
as a
let
jab.
Dave disparage you.
I don't think he's saying that as a jab.
Well, my thing is, where were you going with that whole Bloomington thing? All my friends from Bloomington,
Oh,
you know.
so if they listen to this podcast and you explain the story about what I just did, they're like, "That's Stephen."
That's Steven.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
you
you have a
reputation.
track
No,
record.
No.
This is a
Before-
tra-
See, let me explain something.
Go ahead, explain.
Oh.
My absent-mindedness sometimes. Okay.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Your mind is absent with others, but
if-
present with your own belly.
And my
Okay.
homie, and my best
Selfish.
friend Herbert Smyer and Ricardo.
Why you using government
Wow,
names?
you gonna put him on? Wow.
Herbert Smyer.
Come on, man. Don't be using government.
Herbert,
Zeal is his
if
Christian
you're listening,
rapper name. Christian rapper name.
email
why
us
he
at the
ex-Christian rapper?
info@thecraftfat.org and tell us, does he steal fries?
He hung up.
Rappers wear cleats?
He's in our fantasy football.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Dave.
Wow.
I'm trying to help him. I'm trying to give him
Wow.
hints, and he not taking the hints. Continue, Mr. ISU.
Because you the issue.
Redbirds.
Because you the issue.
Yeah, Redbirds. My
In
best
my-
friend.
in-
I'm using his government name.
in my heart, I meant to give Abe his fries.
Well, they said the heart is deceitful, so.
They said the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Paved.
You had good intentions. You had good intentions to get him fries. But what happened?
I genuinely forgot. Like, it wasn't until after I hit order and looked at him, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to get this man his fries."
But you didn't forget your fries. I wish you
But
would
it was
forgot
a
your
part of-
fries.
so here's
You
the
should have
thing,
forgot
though.
your fries.
With cheese.
You know, when you order a meal with any
Oh, a fu-
organization
a full meal?
or restaurant within that app, it asks you to hit a series of selections. And you can only hit one of those selections.
Right. And then it asks you, would you like to add? Is that what you did? It shut up to that screen, huh?
Either way it goes.
It shut up to the, would you
Either
like
way.
to add? And you was like, ooh, cheese
With
fries. I'd
cheese?
love to add cheese fries. But
With
you
this
didn't
ranch.
think, ooh, I'd like to add fries for my brother Abe. You had 2 opportunities. Actually, 3.
Mind you,
You had
keep
3.
in mind, it also tells you can increase the number.
You had multiple
Wow.
chances.
You could
Here's
be
the
like,
moral
I
of the
want
story.
2 of
Here's
these.
the moral of the
Here's the
story.
moral, preach.
With the same heat that I'm giving to you about this is the same heat with which I could say,
You know what?
We
would've
forgive
been,
you.
It wouldn't have been an issue if he had forgotten that I wanted Cajun fries and got 2 cheese fries.
Layers.
I would've
Layers
been-
to this.
okay.
But the fact that he just total disregard. I'm
But
like,
you know
well,
it's beautiful
so
though?
good.
At least you know you're absent-minded.
Yeah.
So we can know not to hold you accountable for being forgetful.
Yeah.
you're forgiven. You've been forgiven.
Yeah,
There was
you've been
no.
forgiven. Yeah.
It's just.
You know, next episode, fries.
It's just hilarious.
Bless God.
It's just hilarious.
What's this episode about?
about the,
We call this episode we call this episode "You is the issue."
betrayal,
If y'all-
pride,
Betray-
and the pursuit of
deceit.
Y'all
happiness.
want an episode about me because y'all
Why?
because you just
This
don't
is
want an
this is the
episode about
pilot
me.
for your podcast, though.
Deceit,
This is the pilot. We want to hear
lies.
your story.
If my wife hears this, we can't do this. I can't do it. You just know.
Because your wife can attest
'Cause
to
your
your
wife-
sins.
Actually, she what did he say? What you say?
no, nope, because I heard it. Nope. So-
can you in Christian words kind of?
I cannot.
what he said?
I cannot because
In Christian words, do what?
no,
Break
don't
down
let
what this
Osahon
man
do it.
just
What did
said.
he say? Who say?
Your light skinned brother.
Oh, what did he say?
I don't
You
know.
related?
You are related.
Wow,
By
I
the
said
blood
light
of the
skin.
lamb. Come on, man.
Come
What are
on.
you doing here? You just forget you don't believe in brotherhood.
Jesus.
Ain't no hood like the brotherhood. Okay, that's good.
Right. So this has been the blessing. I'm glad I met y'all. But anyway, yeah, you just don't want to do an episode about me. You might need therapy afterwards. But go ahead.
I would need to. Okay.
Did you hear that there? That humble
I do
brag?
need
you might
anger
need therapy
counseling.
afterwards.
I do
What
need
if you
anger
need
counseling over my disappointment and anger at not getting fries. So
that's
We need
Yeah,
counseling
a
on
little
the
bit.
works.
you accomplished
A
your
little bit.
goal.
who's to say that I don't need counseling now?
I don't know your life, so I don't know what you need.
Why is the assumption that someone has to have issues to go into counseling or therapy?
Issue.
You know,
There's
what?
that word
There's
again.
it
That's the
is.
purpose of
There it
counseling,
is.
though, isn't it? To talk about your issues.
Wrong.
Mm.
Just like why do you go to the doctor? Well, I hope you go to the doctor
sick.
every year for a physical.
So
You don't.
I don't.
Or
So
to
you
your
don't go
dentist.
for
I'm gonna need
preventative.
you or
So-
preventative.
dentist for
I'm
a
gonna need you to
checkup.
go.
I only
Right.
go. I
Or
only
dentist
go.
or
I
for
only go to the
cleaning?
doc- I only go to the doctor if I feel something wrong in my body.
Therein lies the problem.
Yeah, that's the yeah. That is.
Prevention is always better than cure. The same thing goes for physical health as well as our mental health. So
Okay.
if my mental,
You have a practice you want me to visit or something?
no,
Okay.
No, just
I'm
go.
just pointing something out.
He's just,
Just go.
educating.
I'm just pointing it out.
Educating?
Yeah.
Just go.
Our dear friend, mutual friend, the Kenyon Healy, I'm going to use government names on
Why
that
you
one.
putting
Governmental.
my pastor out like that?
Listen, because he's a
But
good
we
man.
pointed
He's a good
Herbert.
man. Said this not too long ago on the social medias and the interwebs.
Okay.
He said,
Internet.
some of y'all is depressed right now because you tried to praise your way out of something you should have got counseling for.
Yeah, he did say that. Wow, man, you be studying this.
I don't study
post.
him.
He remembers.
That's-
That's-
I just
that
have a really
post
good
was a-
He
memory.
just has a good memory.
I just got a
That's
really
all.
good
That's
memory.
all.
Yeah, I remember
That
saying
is
that, reading that, and he was like, "Dang, man, he was talking to me." I'm serious. I'm like,
Are you
shit.
currently getting counseling?
Currently.
See, so here's
What
So no.
happened
So
was
no.
I want to hear your why.
here's the thing. So, man, okay.
You prefacing?
Here's what. Jesus.
All right. So
So whether you like it or not, this episode's gonna be about you.
No,
so
it's
continue.
not. So anyway, so here's the thing. So I did take counseling a couple times with this lady. I'm not gonna give her name.
Was she a Christian counselor?
She was.
Okay.
So the first session, I'm just unloading about myself.
Yeah.
And she told me to write a letter to
yourself.
my younger self.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And my natural instinct is like, how is this gonna help me? like in my mind, I'm like, I feel it as I thought it was more of dialogue between you. She said, hey, I want you to write a therapeutic letter to your former self, because I think that little boy needs to be heard, or something to that regard. And I wasn't offended by the little boy statement. I was just like, okay. I wrote the letter, and the amazing thing about the counseling was that it was free. Like, I didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, bless him.
So I had like 3 sessions. So I had another session with her. I'm unloading, talking, and then for whatever reason, the third, we had a scheduled appointment.
Yep.
Didn't go through because I got upset about something, and then just like, you know what, forget it. I like, hey, I need to reschedule you for next week. She said her next availability was a Saturday. I work on Saturdays, and I haven't talked to her since. So, yeah.
So a couple things. Number one,
here we go.
What was your attitude when you wrote the letter to yourself?
I got teary eyed a couple times, but it's no different than when I write poetry. Like,
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not. Okay, so I've done spoken word. That's how me and Cecil got connected.
I'm
like,
a poet as well, so I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like, it put me in the space of that.
Okay.
But there's a point in it that I said, man, I feel like I'm talking too much.
Well, it's kind of borderline counseling session, but go ahead.
But
Right.
so I ask this then:
Okay.
when the doctor gives you
Here we go.
a prescription,
Here we go.
do you question him?
Skirt.
No.
No, you trust. It's the same thing with your mental health. If the
Okay.
counselor's saying, "Hey, you should write the letter to your younger self," take her up at it and take the full dose of whatever it is.
I was expecting something completely different.
The full dose.
Your expectation.
I was expecting her to respond. She did like all the stuff that I said. She was just like,
So you were looking
she
for a
just looked at me.
solution.
She's like, I was
Here's the thing.
because I was going through a rough. I was going through a rough patch. at the moment.
Most counselors, I'm sitting through therapy right now. I've been putting it off. So I've done therapy before, and then I went through some crazy traumatic stuff over the past 2 years, and I kept telling myself, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and then I didn't. And eventually I had a friend call me on the carpet about it, and I was like, all right, I might as well take you up on it. And I'm 3 sessions in, I've been getting wrecked each and every session for stuff that I knew was there, but I haven't walked in. I can guarantee you at least 2 out of the 3 sessions, I've walked in with maybe an hour before thinking, what the heck are we going to talk about today? Like, I don't even know what I want to talk about today. And then I step in and say something, and I realize, you know what? I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. No expectation, and let's just see where this goes. No expectation. And I end up getting cut up to the... I'm still meditating, ruminating, and chewing on what was said to me on Monday. This session I just had 4 days prior to this at the time of this recording. I would encourage you, get that 3rd session in. Go. Just go. No expectation. Because it's not necessarily the job of the counselor to fix you.
But it's done
It's
after the 3rd episode. So then you got to transition to somebody else, and it's just like,
Hey, listen. if it's important, it's important. Do you have kids? Right?
I do not.
Do you want to have kids?
I do. I'm
What's the hesitation?
So this election. So I literally been telling my wife. I said, "Hey," she's like, "Hey, can we have kids?" I'm like, "Let's wait till this election to see what's gonna happen."
Listen,
So-
I am a black man with a Latin wife,
Okay.
and our entire pregnancy has been through this period of COVID, pandemic, social and civil
And I've had to raise a child in this.
Right. Listen,
the
there is
thick.
if you, like it says in Ecclesiastes, if you wait for the perfect time to sow the seed, if the farmer waits for the perfect time to sow the seed, he'll never sow it.
Never.
There is never a perfect time to have a kid.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
All you can do is be the best person you could possibly be for that kid.
That's the same example of somebody would tell me, like, bro, you will never have the blueprint on how to be a good father.
it's not even that. It's just like all the craziness surrounding the election this year and all the madness.
Listen,
So,
Welcome.
listen.
I need peace of mind. So that bring up my wife just being pregnant during this time would freak me out.
I'll say this. Listen,
Not freak me out, but I would
listen,
be very concerned.
Listen,
Yeah.
I have a pregnant wife
Yes.
at home right now. Like, we need to bust this recording out so I can get home. Like, no, real rap.
Yeah.
One of the best steps you can take to get that peace of mind is to go get that counseling. I'm telling you, it is worth every penny of it.
Yeah.
If you need some recommendations, I'll shoot you some recommendations that'll work with you, that are affordable,
Got
all of
some
that.
too.
Because trust me, if it's worthwhile, it'll be worth the price. And I guarantee it's going to be worth the price.
I definitely do need to know because I personally have been through some very traumatic things. That,
Yeah.
you know, I don't like talking about.
Here's the thing. The body keeps score.
My score high.
The body keeps score of every trauma, every anxiety. The body
yeah,
keeps the
absolutely.
tab on it.
Yeah.
How are you physically?
Not sure yet. I haven't got. I haven't done that checkup.
How do you feel physically?
I could be better.
Guarantee you, it's tied to some of that trauma that you haven't
Yeah.
processed through.
You think so?
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee you.
When you don't allow yourself to check in with yourself, like you don't, you have no
But
awareness
that
of where
was
you're
never
at.
a thing for me. So going to the hospital, doing checkup, get my teeth checked.
Listen,
Like, my teeth are horrible right now.
Listen.
But anyway,
that is a simple step in terms of just getting you want to set yourself up to be to bring a child into this world and all of that stuff. Be consistent at least with the maintenance and preventative stuff for your mental, for your physical. I'm sure you do a pretty good job with your spiritual. You know,
I try my best.
You try your best. Try your best with all the other areas. It'll be a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like you benefited from therapy or counseling the most?
For example, this past week, we talked about my fear of rejection and traced that all the way back, my fear of rejection and the avoidance that has come from it, and traced it all the way back to childhood and how it's affecting me right now. And in terms of my body keeping score on things, here's what happens. When I get that sense of, man, I'm about to be put in a place of rejection, I try to avoid it, try to avoid the anxiety. So as I try to suppress it, though, for me physically, it works almost as if like a trash compactor. When you're trying to compress something down, it works like that. So for me, it starts in my upper body and will work its way down, that weird knot in my stomach, then gets down to my legs. Here's the crazy part. I normally experience it when I'm out either running or riding my bike. Because for me, that's some of my primary thinking spaces and points. So if I'm working through my inner dialogue or talking to God about some of these things, that stuff starts. And so I'm trying to suppress it. And I get to a place where I'm almost having a panic attack instead of just pulling over and dealing with it. So the question, the thing that helped me in this week as I was talking with my counselor, my therapist, was this. She said, listen, you have to care for yourself and have compassion for yourself. So that little kid on the inside who endured and suffered all those things and went through all that trauma, you need to give the compassion and care to him that he didn't get. Give it to him right now. You know how freeing that was for me? Mm-hmm. Like, you know how much of a weight that lifted off of my chest? Now this week, ever since, when I've been in a space where I felt that tension come up, instead of running away from it and saying, all right, we'll just try to figure it out, I've said, no, like, let's talk about it. Let's work through it. Have compassion for yourself, Osahon, and process through it. And talk with yourself. And not even process through it, because here's the other thing. We'll talk about, man, you got to think about, like, in Christendom, we use a lot of Christianese. Man, you got to confront your fears. You're more than a conqueror. You got to. Confrontation actually probably isn't the real language. We should be talking about being present with it. Like, be present with your fear. Be present with be present with your trauma. Why? Because when you're present with it, you put yourself in position to allow the presence of God to come into that space. But you'll never be able to do it unless you're actually present with it. If you're always running from the darkness that's within, because whether or not we want to admit it, we all have a shadow self within that needs that healing, that needs that, like you said, those things that you don't really talk about. We have that side. And so when we run to that darkness, we can be compassionate with it and drag it out into the light, not to expose it or blast ourselves, but to bring real and true healing. And in that real and true healing, do you find your real and true freedom? So despite all the other things that you're worried about going on without, you could be in a space where if you're walking through and being present with some of your trauma and allowing the healing to take place, it doesn't matter what hell is going on in the world around you. As long as you're good within, you can bring anything into this world and handle it. Yeah. Guarantee you.
And I think sometimes trauma, like, for me, well, not even just for me, I'll say this. When it comes to trauma, I feel like people are able to handle trauma properly until, like, they'll run from it, keep running. And it's not until you see it affect somebody else, like your trauma affects somebody else.
That's real.
Then it's like, oh, shoot. Like, I got a lot going on. I need to confront this. For me, that happened when my son was in the womb. Like, once you realize that, and it may be different for some. Some people be like, I don't need something else to happen for me to deal with it. Good. You better than me. But for me, in my situation, because I was a runner, because I avoided, it wasn't until there was a reflection of me that I saw, like, oh, what I'm doing now affects his life. So I need to deal with this trauma now. And I'm in the season of doing that. Like, you deal with everything that's in front of you, whether it's a hiccup. How I respond to people is important. How I instruct people, how I teach people, it's important, because how I respond to stuff is what people will see, is what my son sees. So if my son sees me acting out because of my trauma, then guess what he'll do? He'll act out because of anything that is formed or passed down. And I ain't trying to pass down anything that is not reflective of God or just simply what I represent as a man and a father. So
I think for me, a lot of like my downfalls and shortcomings is always just attached to usually one or two things: rejection and acceptance issues, right? So, classic story, father wasn't in my life, all that, right? So I didn't have the typical sculpting, but, I also was diagnosed with ADHD as a little kid, so there were just a lot of challenging situations.
Do you feel like that was a correct diagnosis for you, the ADHD?
Yes.
Okay.
Not as extreme as they had it, because when I was diagnosed with ADHD, for whatever reason they claimed that my grandmother was an unfit parent, so the state got involved.
Of course, yeah.
And separated me from my grandmother.
Of course.
And moved me closer to where my mom was, because my mom was having issues. Praise God, she's clean of everything over 20 years and whatnot. So, but so there's a separation there, right? So I do believe this is correct. Ask any of my friends that is a correct diagnosis.
Okay.
But a lot of that was hinged, in how the state back in the 90s thought of black people, thought of black women.
Yeah.
So a lot of
still do pretty much.
So a lot of black men and women out here are being labeled ADHD unfairly, unjustly, and a lot of it is just kids are just hyper that want attention. And I feel like I fell more in that category. It is hard for me. I can't get easily distracted, but like what human being is that? You see what I'm saying? So so for me, I never felt like included. Even to this day, I still wrestle with that. Like, even with my job, like if certain people are picked to do something that I feel like requires more skill, and I'm getting picked to do stuff that doesn't. I'm like, my natural inclination is I think I'm stupid.
Right.
So now, my natural inclination is let me prove that I'm not stupid. Let me win this woman. Let me show her, and then it goes into the cycle of constantly trying to go out of my way to try to prove this woman that I'm not stupid, just to be accepted by this woman that I probably never see after. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just my life has been a series of, and it's different when your issues aren't just private; they're now in the public eye multiple times.
Oh, I know that well.
Trust me.
Not just public eye and people. I'm talking about public eye on social media.
Oh yeah.
So like I've had some situations go down on social media that like I thought I and I still feel like, man, I probably won't recover from. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what my mind tells me. Like you won't recover from this. You've done this. I mean, not so much you've done this, but some of your issues have been made public so many times. It's like, and I've had friends tell me, I really don't pay attention to anything that you post on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all those things affect me, and with the whole Trump situation, with all the wildfires going on, and just everything going else, and us in what we believe to be the end times. As a man, you look at yourself and you say, what have I really done with my life? I felt like I was supposed to do way much more, and I got in the way of what could have been. And we know people in the Bible did some horrendous things. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just like I feel like I won't recover from that. You see what I'm saying? From a creative persona, from a financial persona. You know what I'm saying? And just from a lot of different. So for me, trying to rid myself of being adopted into to everybody, feeling like I'm a part of everybody else, or feeling like, how do I put this? Being accepted by the masses, or it's accepted by the wider audience.
Right.
It's something that I struggle with, only because I know I'm a creative. I know that there are things that God put on the inside of me, like poetry and encouragement, and inspiration, all these things. And you feel like, man, I fell flat on my face again and again. You know what I'm saying? So from my confidence, it's not just so much the acceptance; it's the acceptance with the confidence. And your wife has to watch you in the midst of that. and you recently married. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think it's what people have to understand is acceptance. When you really find where your roots come from, and I'm talking about when it comes to just being a follower of Christ, being rooted in Christ, being confident and secure in what God says about you, not necessarily. And there's a balance. I do believe you got to know what God has called you to do, but at the same time, sometimes people get so caught up in what they're called to do that they forget about who they are in God. So they focus on doing, and their calling.
Do you think it's more so they call what they're called to do, or they like if you've been like me, called? I feel like that it's more so who's going to take them serious. I think we get so much more caught up into.
But why does that have to be the question in the head though? And not saying I've been through that too, but it's just when you reflect, it's like, why did I put myself in the position of saying, man, why did I feel like I have to fight for approval? Why do I feel like I have to do X, Y, and Z when I know who I am in God? I know what God says about me. No matter what I do, I'm loved and I'm accepted. So anything else I do, it can go away, it could stay, whatever. But I know that this is where I'm going.
And to this, I'll say this: the Bible says it's better to have a good name than it is to have
silver and gold.
Choice silver and gold, right?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because it's about name and reputation, right?
Yeah.
Your reputation can ruin you. You know what I'm saying? Your character, who you are.
If that's the case, I had my reputation ruined like 5 times. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I've been in, this is my thing, and we can, I guess, transition. But my thing is this: I've been in situations where multiple times I have gotten sat down all till I'm blue in the face because of sexual sin, because of something stupid. I had anger issues in the church. Like, I wanted to fight people in the church. Because of, if you press me the wrong way, or if it sounds like you're saying something slick, or if I feel rejected, sometimes my rejection pushed me to anger, to where the moment I would feel like, yo, I'm really not wanted, it developed into this area of, okay, why don't nobody want me? Then it's like, all right, now we got to fade because you don't want me. Like, all right, my nigga, cool. Like, that's what it is. So when you get through all of that, and I had to deal with that publicly in the church, in front of people from all platforms. And this is why I kind of said it jokingly, but I mean it when I say, like, my reputation has been smashed on, trampled on multiple times, and yet I'm still here.
Right. And for me, it was more so like, I hear what you're saying about the one, and I'm not going to combat that. I think for me, in just self-reflecting, it's when I felt unwanted a lot of times. Yeah. And I think we have to be honest with ourselves and ask, what did you do that make people wanted to distance themselves from you in the first place? And I think that was a hard recollection too, or a hard understanding, or come to Jesus moment for me. It's like, because for me, so oftentimes I played victim.
Yeah.
Like, they really don't understand me. They don't really love. They don't understand that I've been through this and that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. It was more so I wasn't wanted amongst people. It was basically I wasn't wanted amongst people. Let me prove to you why I'm worthy of being wanted.
So, with all that being said,
that's a lot.
It's why you need to go sit down in the therapy chair.
Sit in that couch.
No, because I can tell you right now, I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but I can guarantee this all stems back to no father situation, so on and so forth, and watching that pattern play out.
And I guess my hesitancy of doing it is, and this is, if I'm being honest, is like, I have heard that so many times. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but have you? Yeah, and I'm not saying like. Besides, have you heard it? But have you truly accepted it?
Right.
And let it be what it's good. Because here's the thing: you're allowing what could have been and should have been to be the enemy and the limiter to what can be. And until you make peace with what could have been and should have been in the past, you will never be able to move forward into, because you're fighting for acceptance when I can guarantee you this. Honestly, God doesn't care about acceptance. He cares more about influence.
Yeah.
You look at Jesus, multiple times rejected by his own peoples.
Yeah. Right.
and still didn't allow that to limit his reach and his influence. If we're fighting for acceptance, we will always miss the greater fact that influence is so much greater. People want acceptance so bad. We see it all over social media.
Every
They're dying
day.
for acceptance, but don't realize that you can be accepted today. Like the prophetess Lauryn Hill said, they'll hail you to nail you. Like they will hail you one day like
And
they
the
did with
next
Christ.
day,
Crucify him.
be gone.
Crucifixion is cool. No, crucifixion ain't cool. It's not fun.
It's not.
That's capital punishment. But the influence that spread out from that was so much greater. So go do yourself a favor.
Sure.
Make the peace in that couch, okay? Go talk to whoever you need to talk to. And lastly, we are in the fourth quarter of 2020. Clutch time.
Fourth quarter, no
Mamba time.
overtime, hopefully.
Shoot or shoot. Shoot or shoot. So
You know what I'm
by
And you know the only reason why the Lakers are in the playoffs is because the Golden State Warriors were injured.
so by
No.
by hold on, by somewhere between June.
Are you a Warriors fan?
He is.
Absolutely.
That's why he
Don't
said that
listen- Don't
trash.
listen to him. Don't
Yes.
even do it. So
You just said
sometime
screw Chicago.
I didn't say that.
we're not listening to you.
No,
right
no,
now.
no.
See,
No,
see,
not
see,
that.
losing acceptance.
You got
No,
some-
but so
That's why you got some on
we
the
right
couch.
now in the fourth quarter of this year, somewhere between June and September, October of next year. I can't wait for us to celebrate your kid.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's no pressure at all. That's all I'm saying.
We just waiting for the seed.
Let's move.
You know.
Yes.
Let's move on.
So fourth quarter, and we're about to close out the year. It feels like every year has been, maybe an uppercut here, haymaker.
every year or this year?
Every year. I mean, this month. Thank you, Osahon, for being on it. And what I've seen,
You said this
From-
month or this year.
I said every year,
Okay, I thought you said this,
but I
month. I'm
messed
sorry.
up. So every month of this year,
Okay.
it does. I'm watching creatives. I'm watching, talented people, artists. I don't know how well I think we collectively have done this year. But what I can say is that there is, I'll just speak for just out here. I don't know everything what's happening across 50 states, but as far as out here in the IE, it gets frustrating to me.
Why is that?
Because when you have ample amount of resources, ample amount of time, especially during the quarantine, and there are some people that just go after it and they work with what they got, and they're willing to do what they do without no remorse, no nothing. And then you have people that, for some reason, either one, fear, two, because they're insecure about what they do, or three, probably trauma. Out of those three, they stop themselves. And I've been
Is that the only
seeing.
reason?
I said three reasons though. I said only one.
Okay. I mean, that's what I meant. Are those? Do you think those are the only three reasons?
To me, yes, because my thing is this: there are artists, there's people that. What is happening?
That moment someone sent you that crazy text message. Where you just
There's
like this, fool.
to me, there's people that have been around for ample amount of time and can do a beautiful job of what they do, but there's nothing to show for it. Nothing. And I'm not on the boat of proving yourself or acceptance in the topic of acceptance. What I'm saying is that I'm seeing a lot of people legit stop themselves over little stuff that can be corrected or can be fixed.
Like what?
Let's just, for example, if I'm a singer and I know I can sing well. Everybody knows that I can sing well, but you have not released a single in X amount of years, months. And the reason for that is something that could be rectified. It could be solved. But because you won't commit, or because you won't go to the studio, or because you won't deal with whatever it is that you have to deal with, it's like,
Do you know this personally, or is this an assumption?
this is general. I know people personally, so I'm making it general. So because of that, it's like looking at how 2020 shaped up, seeing how we was we still are in quarantine technically, and seeing people out here in this demographic, I would say waste an opportunity. It just I have a very big burden when it comes to just creatives, and that's the whole like vision and the foundation of the Craft Factory for sure is to serve creatives with what we do, whether it's giving knowledge, serving them through resources, or just developing those relationships. Those are the main things that we try to function off of. So when you see that, or when you believe that, and when you operate on that, but then you see what you see, it's like, man, like what, not just about what can we do to help, but it's like at some point you got to be able to help yourself. And at some point you got to be able to say, okay, I haven't produced a record in X amount of years. I haven't even released anything actually. When am I going to be, when am I going to be huh? What? Sure.
Yeah, we in here.
All right, we're back.
We is back.
So,
Okay. You don't need to
but no, I was saying like as far as creatives, my hope as we close this year is, release a song. It don't matter how it look right now. Like a lot of people want it done so perfectly, that it never comes out.
Perfection is the enemy of progress.
It is. When you have perfectionism, it slows you down actually. The more you want something to be done well, the longer you wait, the quicker you'll draw back. And my hope for people, singers, artists, I don't care who you are, that want to produce something, you got to be able to do it. You got to be able to do it. I think one of the things that will hold you back, like I said, is perfectionism and feeling like you need to have the whole kitchen sink. Sometimes you just need a mic. Sometimes you just need a computer. You need a piece of paper, a pen, whatever. But you got to be able to release the record, release the song.
You might need the
poem,
kitchen
whatever.
sink to do your dishes because
you might need the kitchen
dirty
sink.
dishes all over the place.
Yes.
You can't really got space to
Yes.
record. You might need the
Right.
kitchen sink. But
Yes. How do y'all feel as a collectively? How did artists do this year, based on with everything that's happened? Do you think there was a lot of gaps, a lot of missed opportunities, or do you feel like they did what they could?
I think the disruption was necessary because it's kept us from being overloaded. We were already oversaturated with content. I think the numbers show that.
And I agree with that. I'm not, and that's what I'm not. I don't want people to think that.
I think
no,
we're
go do it,
oversaturated with
like
content
no
just for
rest.
content's sake. I think people who put out content since March when everything blew up, I felt it's been more thoughtful and more quality for the most part.
It has.
Yeah, I think overall
It has.
and I think really what when we really see the benefit of it or the harvest of it will be in 2021. I think some of the stuff that we're going to hear in 2021 is going to be stuff that has been marinating,
Sauteed and cooked.
just fermenting.
I've
excited.
even
In
been
2020.
provoked to get back into the writing space.
Yeah. But when you do, it's gonna be something.
quality,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
more quality because the other thing is, of course, we all know that unspoken pressure of, man, like I feel like I got to put stuff out because you see so and so putting out so and so.
Right.
With everyone in the same kind of space, it's like, well, that pressure's kind of gone. I'll get there when I get there. Most importantly, I think going back to kind of how we started this episode, I think people have taken more time to be introspective and reflective and slow down and really get in touch with self so that the stuff, like I said, we'll see in 2021 will be more reflective of that. It'll be, I think, more authentic and it'll be pure. It won't be tainted with the motivations of I got to keep up the FOMOs, I have to make sure that so and so doesn't outdo me. I got to release. If they released, I got to release something right now. I think it's going to be more pure and come from a pure place, and that's all people want. You can tell when content or when anything for that matter. There's a difference between food cooked in a home kitchen versus food cooked in a fast food kitchen. You can taste and tell the difference. There's a difference between that chicken that was running around the backyard that you cut its head off and plucked its feathers and cooked it up. And
Man, that's a lot of steps.
I'm preaching. And you cooked it up versus that hormone-filled chicken that you got at KFC. Like, it just tastes cleaner and better. And that's what we're going to see, I think, in content in 2021.
No, yeah, I'm gonna appreciate a lot of art next year. And the way I spoke as far as, hey, put out something, I'm talking to those who've been marinating before 2020.
Yeah. You soggy cereal.
You
at this point.
you soggy son.
Being soggy cereal.
But I think I think in looking
Even
at
before
it too,
March.
I think a lot of creatives had to deal with the fact of, am I doing this content for when it's not driven by money,
Right.
and it's driven by true, raw, genuine emotions, feelings, a place of authenticity that they haven't had to deal with in a while. So, like, who I don't know his life, but Aretha Francisco. You know, a lot of people's creativity was based in them constantly being on the go, constantly having to be recorded, or constantly, you know what I'm saying? And then when your money flow hits, you know, sometimes, who knows, if you're an aspiring artist and this was going to be your breakout moment. And then I think there's an honest decline or honest detachment or drawback that you feel, because it's like, man, I've been trying to cultivate for this moment forever. And COVID took that from you know what I'm saying,
Right?
But I think it also, like the big bag of Osahon said, it helped us, helping a lot of us, not just creators, even though that's what, but all of us as individuals look more inward than we are outward. You see what I'm saying? And really try to find self and base the creations that we're creating to be more internal than they are external influenced.
Yeah, like you said, it's being able to, well, going off what you said, figuring out, you know, is it for this? Is it for the crowd? Is it for me? Is this, you know, for his glory? Is it for me? And it's great to wrestle with that. Please wrestle with it. Process through it. Confront it. It's for those who been having to confront that for X amount of years, and you're still in a place of, I don't know if this is for this, that, and like, that's where to me, it's like, okay. And especially if you haven't put out anything yet and you're still wrestling with that, then you definitely need to, I guess, going back to the point of at the beginning of the episode, like, talk to somebody, like, figure out what that is, because for you to still kind of wrestle with that and it's stopping you in a major way from putting out anything, you need to talk through that and seek that freedom and get that help. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I do hope, you know, the fourth quarter, the season finale of 2020, can end on a good note. I'm sure we'll see some interesting things, and especially in music. I know KB came out with his second greatest album.
What was the first?
Weight and Glory.
Okay.
Weight and Glory was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
There's not too many.
One of those you can just hit play.
Yeah. There's not too many who dropped recently. I can't think of anybody. Wow, I was about to butcher her name, something crazy. Tasha Cobbs dropped the album. I personally, to me, I didn't like it. Even the cover kind of gave me weird vibes, but that's just me. I don't know if you guys heard it yet, the Tasha Cobbs album. I
told Osahon that it's the type of album where I need to listen to it in a public setting.
Yeah.
Why?
And because that's when I'll catch the Holy Spirit with the way the album is.
Yeah.
Other projects that have dropped this year and prior, the ones that I've enjoyed are the ones where I can listen to it solo
Dolo.
and catch the Holy Spirit.
Catch it.
Cobb's album didn't do it for me.
Yeah, it just is one of those albums where it's
The live feel would be.
The live feel's not the issue.
No. I'm not talking about the album. I'm just saying for him, experience the artistry live from what she produced. It would be more beneficial.
In regards to this album,
Yeah.
most likely.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a very interesting album. Seeing people react to it a lot. Not a
What
lot.
is what is
Which
the
is
gen-
funny because it was a live album.
what was the general consensus?
It was a live album.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was.
What's the
And I
general
was like, I ain't
consensus?
feeling
I haven't heard it
The
yet. so-
general consensus of it was it wasn't like, oh my god, like this
so
is
there was no hitters.
amazing. To me, it wasn't. I mean, it had its good moments.
Mm-hmm.
It had some great moments and great stuff in the whole album,
And that album
But-
cover had you think that was gonna be the business.
but not to me. I didn't think nothing of it, honestly.
Royalty and the way she, I'm just saying.
I looked at the cover and I'm like, well, I don't know where she's going with this. I didn't know the direction looking at the cover. Usually I can tell a direction looking at a
I
cover
feel
or
like
something.
usually when people try too hard in their album covers, the quality of the album isn't
Yeah.
always.
Yeah. But a lot of people, there was some people that didn't really even get to the album because of the cover. Some people were
Really?
saying, yeah, some people were saying like, it's the black. She's got these black dress, this black. Like, what's
I
going
feel
on?
like it's too BLM for them.
Is it BLM? That's the
No,
question.
I'm just saying. Is it feel like you just this whole black pride aspect of it? Is that what they were going for?
No, but I because another question you would bring up is, was that related to BLM? And if it wasn't, then that's a whole nother. I mean, if it is, then that's a whole nother story,
Right.
a whole nother thing. But from the just general, from the naked eye, they're like,
I will say this though, in regards to KB, my favorite KB song is not from either of those albums. It's from the Today We Rebel album,
I knew it.
yeah.
Which one?
The Art of Drifting.
I figured.
Art of Drifting is really good, really good.
Have I heard that shit?
I think.
Yeah.
Here's how I felt about the KB album. I felt it was his most complete album since Wait in Glory. I think most of his other albums, like there's stuff that I maybe like skip
and
or
miss.
fast forward through.
Yeah.
When you
But
say complete, mean like
I mean,
you
like
can vibe
start
with
to
it from
finish.
start
Like
to finish.
I can vibe with it from start.
I
It
hope
felt.
he drops a commentary version because I enjoy.
I'm sure he
those.
will. I'm sure he'll probably.
I'd love to
did
hear
you
him
see the
speak.
live concert? Did you see the live?
Yeah, it was
Like
amazing.
he did a lot of that in there per song. I will say this. I think this album, if I were to describe it like in terms of KB, it felt like KB's almost final evolution. Like
Oh, yeah.
this is I'm here.
Top
this
form.
is me. Yeah, this is me in my final form. Like here we go. It was
Top
that
form.
album when I listened to it, the majority of those songs are probably gonna end up somewhere on ESPN.
Yeah.
So in this case, rank them: Lecrae, Mineo, KB.
Well,
KB.
if you're talking about
Are we talking about
Label?
Label?
'Cause
Well,
KB's not a part
I
of
can't
Reach.
rank it because I
No,
haven't
no,
heard
I'm not.
Lecrae
I'm
or
not talking about Reach. I'm talking about
Just artists.
In terms of me, these are the top 3 dogs in the game right now.
KB, Andy, Lecrae.
Those 3 aren't even the top 3 dogs
They're
in
not.
the game to me right now.
Really?
TBH. I put Swoop over all 3 of them.
Really?
You've been a Swoop fan ever
I have
since.
never heard an
Swoop is.
I have never heard a Swoop
First day
album.
I told
I've
you
heard
that
tracks.
I love KB. You told me about
Swoop is-
All four of Swoop's albums, start to finish, I can listen to start to finish. and
Collision
not
was
even-
one of the greatest Christian albums. I think it was called Collision. Let me hold on.
Which one? His first one?
So aside from Swoop, who else is in?
Yeah.
the top
His first one was Wake Up.
Wake Up. Wake Up to me
Wake Up
is
classic, bro.
all-time
sorry.
classic.
Okay, if I'm going outside of those,
Easy classic, bro.
Eshawn Burgundy is definitely like my number.
I put
Like-
Eshawn in that category as well.
Yeah.
I put Taylor Gray in that category as well. But in terms of the guys who are the most, in terms of name brand value, probably be those 3. I would go.
I put Lecrae at 3 for me.
I'd go Andy, KB, Lecrae.
Why Andy above KB?
I put KB
I feel
first.
like KB's been on just a deadly tear, especially with his singles.
What do you mean a
Where-
deadly tear?
In terms of just,
He's been on a winning streak. He's been on a winning
Oh.
streak.
Yeah, he's
been on a winning
He's
streak.
been on a winning streak.
See, I'm not gonna
I
be
think-
like I ain't gonna be like this one out there using FOMO and don't know how to use it.
Hey, Andy Mineo's been deadly on the on the album.
He's dead. What you mean?
you know,
Who kill? He killing folks on albums.
Yeah.
Live executions.
COVID got him too.
and honestly, his glory alone just kind of
Yeah, that was a
pushed
beautiful
KB
album, man.
to 1 for me.
Yeah.
I have it KB 1, Andy 2, Lecrae 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this album was, keep in mind, the last album was right after, not right after, but it was in the process of him separating from Reach. So
Was it?
It was.
Today
Yeah.
we rebelled.
So it wasn't immediately after, but
Actually,
it was
we're
in that
about to hit
process.
the 2-year anniversary in a couple weeks. When Oso's,
Oh, that's
if
right,
Oso comes on the
Yeah.
21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It'll be that year.
for me, when I listen,
3-year anniversary of that album.
Yeah.
yeah. So for me, when I listen to this album, I hear, like you said, that rare form. Like this is my top dollar. This is me. And I think the last album you got parts and pieces of it, but he was still trying to get there. And I think now that he's under his own label, his merch is flourishing. Everything HGA is my monster merch right now.
Native Supply.
Native Supply. And that HGA is the brand. Yeah. So between he has a good circle around him right now. His podcast buddy, I forgot his name, Amin Hudson. Amin Hudson. Swoop is in his circle. Natalie.
I didn't get the jersey yet. Natalie Lauren.
You know, that circle there, they put some good stuff out. I mean, no lie. And you know, KB, I'm excited for the next.
Hudson, rapper.
No, he's the fellow, his co-host on his podcast
for Southside Rabbi.
Yeah. So I'm excited for what KB will do next. But yeah, KB for me 1, Andy
I've listened
2.
to the album all the way through at least 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, it's dope.
Oh, it's been, except for October 1st because that was Independence Day, it's been on repeat every day since it dropped.
Has it?
Yeah.
He came. I was like, man, he came out with the heat on the first track. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let it rain.
Bizzle.
Let it rain.
My, great.
Thank God, because I'm like, Bizzle, you finally. Never mind. But it was a dope track. It was a dope track. Bizzle ripped it. You know, he had his time and he did great.
How much did he have to use? How much did he cost him to use? Because that was the only song that he sampled. He sampled some other.
Oh,
he sampled though, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
He been sampling.
Yeah.
Oh.
He stays sampling. But
that's why
it was
like
dope.
Osahon said, he's the clearance king.
Clearance king. But it was dope. Andy actually has been rolling out a lot of heat. He's gonna come out with an album soon. That's been confirmed already.
Did KB ever talk? So I haven't heard about this. I've heard like
About him leaving the label?
Yes, and
Who?
Yes, he's talked about it.
Who?
Did he say why?
Who are you talking about?
KB.
Yeah, he's talked about it.
He's
Okay.
left.
I didn't know that. I thought the way he talked about it in this podcast with Ruslan KD. I think that's his name.
Yeah, Ruslan, yeah.
Yeah.
Ruslan, made it seem like it was recent.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
Yeah, and at this point, right now, it's not that.
Several months.
Right now, it's not that recent.
Okay,
but
the
he
way
did
he
leave.
talked about it in the podcast with Ruslan KD was like as if it was like within the past few months.
Yeah, no. He left and started his own and partnership with a division in Sony. So that way, all of his stuff is still his. And he does what he does on his own.
So Sony doesn't.
Sony does not own. We've had this conversation. Sony does not
I just
own.
want somebody to prove me right.
No, that's not it. Technicality, and we look at the whole thing how it's set up.
So why does he
KB
Sony
did
then?
it
So why is he in association with Sony then? Why does Sony want any?
because it's masters. So going back to the whole masters talk. Masters, you can only do if you have masters. It means nothing unless you do something with it.
Correct.
Unless you allow people to do something with it.
Correct.
So in this way, is he's saying, hey, Sony, you want my masters, you want my catalog or whatever, you can do it, you can use it, but not forever. It's a temperament thing.
Okay.
So when it comes to the division that he's connected to, he's pretty much saying, I'm in partnership with this division. I'm not under anybody.
Okay.
So that's the whole gist of that whole thing. So,
Okay.
you know, he's doing his own thing now. Andy, I feel like is gonna be next. He has a little
What
layout
is it
or
about
rollout right now.
Reach that people are, the people that are founding just wants to be disconnected.
I don't think it's that. I think it's just timing. I think it's just you find yourself, and when you're ready to leave.
I don't, because the way KB talked about it with Ruslan made it seem like there were some other things.
Well,
connected
let's.
to that.
When you say founding,
Not so much founding, but
Really?
people like like your KB.
KB was
Andes.
like second generation Reach though.
Yes,
First generation Reach would be
Derek
Craig.
Minor.
Nah, I'd say Derek is second. It
Really?
would be
Yeah,
it
he
would
was a
be
founding.
because when you look at the 116 click,
Jason Lecrae.
Triply,
so
Triply.
Trip, Jason Lecrae,
Pro was it?
Tadashi, yeah.
Tadashi. Pro did come
Show.
with that.
Show Baraka, yeah. Show Baraka.
Showbrock, yeah, but
Yeah.
I thought Pro was there.
Yeah, he was second generation too.
So what do you think is causing this exodus?
I think when you hear most of them talk, it's just stage of life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
Just
you
stage
don't
of
ever
life.
want to stay in the
Yeah,
same
it's growth.
place.
Yeah, it's
Especially
nothing
as you
like there's no
continue to
beef
cultivate
there.
your own
There's
talent.
there's no animus there. It's really just I think a growth factor.
Sometimes you just outgrow and you feel like, okay, I'm
If
confident
anything,
and I'm
Lecrae
stable.
has been able to give each of them a platform for them to learn, develop, and to realize what they're about, and they've taken those talents and begun to flourish.
It's the same thing that Lecrae did, because Lecrae was signed to Cross Movement, and eventually branched out and started Reach.
And he knows that. I think
Yeah.
Lecrae knows
got
that
no
that's
problem
part
with
of his
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So
Putting them on.
we'll see what happens. Have you figured out what tomorrow is? The
Is
special
it
day?
somebody's birthday?
I don't believe in birthdays.
It is. Shoot, I do.
I mean, they happen.
I believe in mine.
It's not like it's an urban legend. It's your birthday?
It is. Oh, air horn.
You
Hey.
want to know why I knew it was your birthday? Because I'm looking up here on your laptop and you got birthday music cued.
So not the fact that you don't know the date of it. You just looked at the YouTube. Got it.
Dude, I don't
Got
know
it.
most people's birthday until I get that social media notification. On
Oh,
Facebook that
what
it's
you call that? FOMO?
Man, I can't tell you how many times.
Wow.
I
FOMO.
can't tell you how many times
Wow.
I've almost missed my own mama's
You
birthday.
want to publicly admit that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's somebody out there that
Look,
knows.
there's freedom in that.
There's somebody out there
freedom in
just
that.
like me. They're like, oh shoot, like man,
There's freedom. See,
Facebook has helped me with a lot of these friendships that I got because I won't remember none of
it's
these
help you
people's
maintain
birthdays.
those friendships. Okay,
The
Well-
only birthday I gotta remember is my wife's, and hers is June 10th,
there you go.
All right.
6
Don't-
days before mine.
Don't be going around messing up talking about June 11th.
No, that won't happen. Ooh, that won't happen.
Well, that's about do it. We're out of here. Catch us next time. Honestly, I don't know when that would be. We'll be
Oh my
celebrating
God!
Osahon by this time.
Catch you
probably
Christmas.
be we'll probably be
Low-key.
having the first child,
Whoa, my
his first
God.
child on the earth.
Hey, gang, gang.
I'll be celebrating a whole bunch of birthdays, my birthday included, which is tomorrow. So make sure you guys just say a prayer for me.
So it's not tomorrow. Tomorrow is.
You know what's funny? Like
AKA, he's gonna drop his cash.
that's
app.
it. You read my mind. That's what he's gonna do.
I don't like
It's gonna
dropping
be
the
in-
cash
it's gonna
app.
be in
It's
the
some
bio.
random
It's gonna be in the
organization
bio.
that he wants you to
Yeah.
donate to.
No. I'm not gonna do that. But
Say
You will,
divorced.
okay? Be blessed.
Say
super
the
grateful.
Divorce Foundation.
I'm turning the 3-0. So
Oh,
super.
you finally hitting that 30
Dang,
club.
I'm super in the
30
30.
club.
Wait, you hitting the 30 club?
Yes, I am.
Man.
So
Welcome. Bienvenidos.
Welcome
song
to
of the
receding
week.
hairlines and gray hairs
Listen.
in your beard.
Speak for yourself.
Yikes. I rebuke that. We're gonna bind that. So on that note, song of the week, since my birthday, and then
Isn't that when
Osahon's.
acid reflux kicks in.
Hey, come on,
Yes.
come on.
Absolutely.
Come on. No.
I'm straight.
And in honor of not just my birthday, but of course
Acid
Osahon's
reflux
son
and
will be
bad knees.
birthed. Stevie Wonder, happy birthday.
Song
Yo,
Stevie Wonder
see you
wrote for
guys.
Your
us.
insurance plan might go. Your car insurance might go down.
Shut up. See you guys next
blessings
time.
to it. There's
See you when we
blessings to
see
it.
us. Thank you
Levels
guys
to
for
this.
watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and
I
Spotify,
have
we
not-
Thank you
salute
for
you too.
listening.
You just gonna interrupt my outro? Wow.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you rest in God, you can defeat all the odds. My name is Cecil with Steven, Osahon, Abraham. We out.